The issues were poverty, ignorance, and disease. By addressing these issues, the government has had 3 strategies since we attained our independence in 1963, where the first strategy was the adoption of a policy known as watershed policy in 1965. And in this policy, the government had focused on sessional paper number 10 on African socialism and its application and planning in Kenya. By looking at the issues we had at that given point and our current issues, there's a lot of similarities. And that sessional paper had 5 objectives, where the first objective was political equality. So if you look at that objective, it has not been achieved up to now. The country is still full of political inequalities everywhere. The second objective was social justice. Have you seen our country attaining this? My answer is no. And the third objective which we had in that paper is we had human dignity, which has not been achieved up to date. Because if you look around, you just see the struggles that we actually face in reference to that. And the fourth objective in that is equal opportunities. So this one was in terms of employment, in terms of access to social services, which up to now it is not there. We continue to struggle. Look at what youth are going through, look at what women are going through. It is a mess. Then the last objective which was addressed in that paper is high and growing economies. So if you look at that given point, at least we'd say it was better by that time. Today, there are those people who argue that the economy of Kenya is not growing, but we are underdeveloping. So looking at all these issues through that objective, you realize that that objective or that sessional paper or that policy never addressed these issues. In fact, it is argued that it brought in a lot of issues. For example, poor governance, issues of corruption, gender disparities. So it is said that that paper didn't address any issue, but the gaps that were supposed to be filled by its implementation, it actually widened the gaps. And therefore, this called for a review of the constitution that we had, and also called for an